Hello, hello. Can you hear me now? I hope so.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Oh my god, thank god. So, inward, everyone can hear us too. I'm gonna connect and now we can start. I'm so sorry for everyone here. Wasting your time, but now we can start. Super hyped to have this space today. So, we should also have audio in the Decentraland. Please let me know in DCL if you can hear us. If so, we can straight start, and this would be awesome. So, okay, Twitch stream sounds good.
Yeah,
Okay, everyone
DCL
can.
is confirming they're good to go.
Awesome, I love it. So, friends, today we are here to talk about the very hot topic. We are talking about is Decentraland a ghost town? And I'm super stoked to have you all here. I see some people that I invited. I see Peanut Butter, thanks for coming out. It's awesome. I see Mariana, Simple Meat Sticks, Wishy Girl, AJ, Paper God, Fredame, Ellen Helvig, Hasten Master in the X space. And in world, we have 17 users. Awesome. Also, we are live on Twitch with 7 viewers, and I think this is a perfect time to start. So, yeah, welcome to W.T.F. DCL. This is our third episode, and I'm super happy to have you all here. Tonight's topic is one of those questions that keeps popping up in metaverse circles, sometimes seriously, sometimes as a meme. Is Genesis City a ghost town? And I will start by dropping a few quick facts and a bits of context so we're all on the same page here. After that, everyone is invited to share their thoughts, wherever you're a daily active user and an event host, someone who walked away from DCL months ago, or if you just logged in for the very first time. As always, we are streaming live on Twitch and InWorld. You can join us InWorld in the top up world and use the chat and the poll tool to make your voice heard, or come up as a speaker here on X, like Jared did. Before we dive into DCL's backstory, especially how we ended up talking about ghost towns or, dead mall vibes, let's just quickly go over tonight's event rules. We have one spicy topic per episode, so if you can stay focused, one speaker at a time, no side conversations, please. No direct back and forth between users. Everything flows through me, and we keep it short and sweet. We aim for under 1 hour out of respect for everyone's time. And before we jump in, quick shout out. Tonight's topic was actually inspired by a really interesting convo that happened recently in the DCL CBD Discord between Fancy and Ellen Helvig. They were reflecting on the current state of Decentraland user activity and that classic "where is everyone" question. That sparked the idea for this episode. So if either of you is here tonight, I see you, Ellen. Thanks for the inspiration. Okay, so Decentraland has a bit of a history when it comes to daily active users. And if you spent some time in world on DCL Twitter a few years ago, you've probably seen the memes like, the only 38 users jokes. But where does that actually come from? And let's start there, because to really understand the whole ghost town thing, we should look at why people say it in the first place and since when. So let's rewind to October 2022. That's when Coindesk published an article with the now infamous headline, uh, "It's lonely in the metaverse. Stepradar data suggests Decentraland has 38 daily active users in a 1.3 billion ecosystem." Boom, the internet went wild. Tweets, headlines, YouTube hot takes, all roasting Decentraland. But here's what the article didn't explain clearly. The number 38 was only counting wallets that interact with smart contracts that day. So if you logged in, explored, joined an event, danced at a party, or just hung out with friends, you wouldn't be counted unless you actually did something on-chain, like buying a wearable or casting a vote. Still, this number stuck. The foundation quickly responded and clarified that the actual number of daily users was closer to 8,000 at that time, not 38. But the meme had already taken off. And even today, 38 users gets thrown around half jokingly anytime that the plaza feels empty or someone's party flops. And yeah, that's kind of where tonight's questions comes in. Not just what are the real numbers, but also how does it feel to be in DCL today. So that wasn't the end of the drama. In early 2023, things got even spicier when a YouTuber named Dan Olson from the channel Folding Ideas released a video called "The Future is a Dead Mall: Decentraland and the Metaverse." It's over 1 hour long and it paints a very pretty black picture about Decentraland. Olson walks through DCL in real time and shows empty plazas, copy-pasted builds, inactive parcels. He compares DCL to a dead mall, beautifully designed, full of potential, but basically empty. And his main argument, DCL focused more on speculative land sales and big brand showcases than on building real lasting community experiences. The video blew up and cemented the dead mall narrative as a follow-up to the 38 users meme. Since then, even when cool stuff happens, like Fashion Week, art festivals, the ghost town vibe still lingers. And now there's the wild part. The article, that video, they both dropped over 2 years ago, and somehow we are still talking about it. Still joking about it, still wondering, do we actually have more users now, or just maybe at least better memes? The truth is, even today we don't have a reliable public metric tool that tells us how many people are enrolled on any given day. It's something that MGD is trying to change right now, and after this we would love to give you a little sneak peek in the CBD Discord. But at this point, there's no official number that we can point to, and this is the point today. So where does that leave us? Are we growing? Are we stuck? Is it a data problem, a product problem, a vibe problem? And most importantly, who's responsible for this, if anyone? Is it the DAO, the foundation? Is it up to the community to bring the crowd? Or maybe are we expecting the wrong things from a platform like this altogether? And tonight I would love to explore these questions with all of you. So let's open the floor. What's your take? Is DCL a ghost town, or are we thriving in our own very wired way? And Jared, I would love to hear your thoughts on this.
My hot take is that no, Decentraland isn't a ghost town, Toxic, because ghost towns at least still have ghosts, and I don't think you could scrape enough of us
I was
together to
prepared for that
qualify.
joke. I love it, and I hate it at the same time that you made it. So
But yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
a ghost town still has some ghosts. So Jared, since when are you in the Decentraland?
so when did I first join Decentraland, or is that the question?
Yeah, maybe if you could tell us when you logged in the first time, how many years this was ago, and maybe tell us, was it different back then? Do you feel like there were more users, or how is it in comparison
Yeah,
to today?
yeah. I mean, there are definitely more users. I first logged in October of 2021. It was just before Meta was announced. Like I got here like 3 weeks before the like giant spike in the mana graph when it goes to $5. I was here like 3 weeks before that. I got here just in time for it to be cool, and then it blew up. That's how long I've been here. And yeah, there definitely felt like there were more users then, but I mean, I'm also like way more jaded now, so it's like hard to be honest and fair. But I mean, but it was also like when I joined, it was pre uh ice poker and like DG being the overwhelming top of the chart of where people are in Decentraland. And I also like for the first 3 weeks like only went to like the true events. It wasn't until like altcoin radio dragged me to like a Pepe. No, what was the party where I got my Pepe at? It was at the on Fridays we zoo. It was at the MetaZoo's toga party. That's when I really explored Decentraland. But yeah, it definitely felt like there was more people. There was definitely more people hosting events. It was definitely when people were making jokes about there only being 38 of us, there were more of us here for sure.
So this is a feeling there were more users, and probably we had some metric tools back then that would tell you were right on this. So yeah, maybe let's start by this and just discussing how it is today, comparing how when you joined. If you're now in the space and you would like to come up as a speaker, please let me know. I would love to hear all your thoughts on this. In World, we right now have the um, first poll of the evening going, and I'm asking the users, is Genesis City a ghost town? And let's see what the users are telling us so far. Okay, the votes are coming in. We have yes votes 3 times, 2 no votes, and 3 maybe votes right now. So
As one of the 3 maybe votes, I would like to tell my other 2 maybe voters, you're a coward. You're a coward, you indecisive monster. You've ruined this poll. Uh,
I
sorry,
love it.
I apologize on behalf of all of the maybes.
Everything is okay. So I asked the question if the sentence is a ghost town in a few discords today because I think it's very important to get as many different opinions on this as we can. So I asked it in the DAO Discord where Peanut Butter was replying, and also Mariana. I asked it in the CBT Discord. there was Derek replying. And Derek, I see you in world here. And Derek had a very interesting answer to my question if Decentraland is a ghost town. He suggested to do the spaces on Discord so he could tell us all the truth. And he pointed out a very interesting fact that the world is empty. And if there are no events, no users are coming. And this is something that I really like. And Derek, if you would like to elaborate on this, please tag me in the chat and let us all know. Peanut Butter, if you would like to come up and speak, you're more than welcome. Would be awesome. Mariana, your insights are always very valuable if you would like to join. Also, Simple Meat Sticks, as a community leader, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. And as always, everyone, please feel free to join Ellen Hovick. I really love the conversation between you and Fancy about this topic. So maybe if you would feel comfortable to join us, would also be awesome. And I saw Mariana's coming up. So Mariana, please let us know. Is the Decentraland the ghost town in your opinion?
Toxic. There's a city in the wild, wild West Texas where it's like population of like 380 people, and it's one of those cities that you kind of like drive through, and like you discover like not a it's not a ghost town, but like a very niche civilization, I would say. So I would describe the Decentraland as a niche settlement in a big blockchain world, similar to the Wild Wild West.
Okay, the Wild Red West. This is kind of something nice if we see it like this, because I remember the times when we had Buffalo in the Decentraland, and he really brought the Wild Wild West vibes. I loved it.
Yeah.
You answered on my post in the DAO Discord, and you said maybe it's in real life metaverse that is keeping you away sometimes. Even if I would say that you are an active user because I see you on many events
Yeah.
and you.
I know. I'm a rare exception where I try to kind of stay around with like the Twitter spaces, but then, yeah, with studying, so I try when I can. But like I feel like the real answer, like there's so many angles to this. Like you kind of have to kind of go through, not maybe like a timeline of what has happened over the last few years. And yeah, like IRL is like a huge component now because a lot of people entered during COVID, right? During like the when Jared came in, I came in around like end of 2021, like literally like Christmas time 2021, just out of pure boredom, and I heard about the metaverse and I was curious of how to make NFTs, and I heard that you can go to Wondermine and make NFTs. So I'm like, okay, all right, let's make some NFTs at Wondermine, whatever that means. So a lot of that is, like a lot of the initial hype was driven by, market, like this metaverse hype. And then like that kind of stayed around for a little bit up until like I think when I first started seeing the initial maybe dusting of users was like in February of 2022, and that's when there was like and I think some people will remember this. There was like an initial wallet draining that happened. I've seen like at least like 20 users that maybe they clicked like a link within Decentraland or on Google, and like they got their original, wallet drained. And I will admit I was a user of that too. I did get my initial wallet drained by probably clicking decentraland.org on Google on accident. And I know a lot of people, they kind of there was like a small portion of people who left around that time because like a lot of people came in during the metaverse hype. They came in to, hang out with their friends. They found a lot of people found it through, through like, yeah, like Twitter or Twitch. Yeah, back then was such a fun time. Like there were so many Twitch streams. But anyways, yeah. So back to like the timeline. Yeah. So there was like a lot of draining. OpenSea back then, like streamers were using Twitch for or yeah, people streamers in Twitch were using OpenSea to send NFTs giveaways. Like they were trying to funnel and give away as much wearables or free wearables that were out at the time. And then at that point there was also like some like OpenSea issues, like people couldn't send wearables, and then people were mad that no one was getting free wearables anymore. And that kind of stopped for a little bit. Um, and then the markets dipped around the Ukrainian war. I kind of remember like the war starting in the beginning of like this like crash in the markets. That was also like around April, May 2022. So then a lot of more people kind of left around there. And then I feel like with the market plus with, I don't know, I think then around May 2022 is when like the Decentraland DAO drama kind of began. Like people started to, request the grants. Maybe there was some more popularity grant contests back then, and then on top of that, there was maybe some restructuring with the foundation. People are trying to figure out how to make their builds, trying to get the best support to build when I don't know, maybe things were, I don't know, like a lot of the people that came in originally, they were just focused on going to events, and then there was like this era then around like June 2022 where people wanted to actually build things, build builds, host events, and a lot of people were doing that,
Mm.
for free, and then that ultimately, then people got grants eventually, and then I think then that kind of shifted into like a toxic Decentraland DAO grant VP issue mixed with maybe a mix of like SDK 6 trying to figure that out, and then ultimately
If
SDK 7 came out.
if
Yeah.
Tuda
That
Moon
got it done.
hasn't sent you a hurtful POAP, have you even really Decentralanded? If you've never even
Which,
received a hurtful POAP or NFT from Tuda or Mafa.
oh yeah, and then there was those. Yep, the random NFT drops.
Mm.
Um, yeah. Sorry, Toxic, for keeping rambling,
Oh,
but
no
like,
problem. I love this,
I'm
Mariana,
just
because your insights are so valuable and totally valid. Because the DAO, I think this is a big topic to talk about today. Because how much is the fault of the toxic DAO, as you already said, that kept maybe user driving away? And I would like to bring up Simple Meat Sticks and Peanut Butter because, Jared, would you like to add something?
Just, I mean, since I wasn't here for the 2 week ago conversation about who has the most power, I do think the callback to that of who is most responsible between the DAO and the foundation for the lack of users does have to fall on the foundation. Just between all the things Mariana mentioned, and then on top of that, like the SDK 6 sunsetting and just blindsiding creators. So like after like all the users have already just been, bled dry for whatever reasons, like she's listed, then they just like death kick the creator class by just going like everything you've made, it's fucking dead. Everything you know, useless.
Sheesh.
Good,
That
keep building, please.
this is a good call. Let's keep an eye on the user in world, and then I would like to invite Symphony 6 and Peanut Butter to open up and open their mics. I just asked the user in world because this was a question I asked Jared before. When did you log in first time, before or after the hype? And 7 users have voted. And just we have the 8 user that voted, and we have 50-50. So from 8 users, half joined before the hype and others after. Mariana, I see your hand is up. So what would you like to add?
yeah. Can I also add? Sorry, I feel like I'm like making a Starbucks order. I forgot to order something. But also then I feel like back then the Decentraland was so accessible with the browser. I mean, I know it still technically is, but I know yeah, that has been like a huge issue too. Is people, they just don't have the RAM power, or they think they don't, or actually, there's like a misconception. A lot of people think they don't have the power, but some newer computers do. But then there's also the true valid issue that not everyone could download the client and use it to its best, potential. So there's that, avenue as well. And I kind of miss the browser, just being able to quickly go on, Google Chrome and just, send a friend a link and kind of play like with that as well. So Another added to the list.
we added to the list. Thank you very much, Mariana. I had a new poll now in Decentraland because right now the users are talking about the crypto hype that Mariana just brought up, and if somebody bought NFTs back then, and right now you have a poll in Decentraland, you can say if you bought NFTs back then or not. And I don't know who was earlier, Sinful or Peanut Butter, but since we're talking about the DAO, and Peanut Butter answered on my on the announcement of today's space, I would like to ask Peanut Butter, is Decentraland a ghost town? And if yes, why do you think it is this way?
I first of all, hey, it's nice to see everybody that I haven't seen in quite a while. So, hello to start. I honestly haven't logged into Decentraland in a little while. I'm downloading the client again right now, but my main wallet that I use is on a ledger, and whenever the new client came out, literally any time that I would want to have to sign in to the new client, I would have to get my ledger and then sign into my ledger and then sign into the client, and it was just like a tedious process, and that's one of the things that stopped my daily activities. So just small things like that just build up and then create just like a hard platform for the user to just like do basic things is one of the main things that I would say probably stopped Decentraland users from logging in, doing whatever. And also there's there's so many other platforms where you could just do things that are more stable, more capable, and where devs are, actually putting in work into developing cool things.
And when you say this, Peanut Butter, this means a lot because you're someone that has already worked for the foundation. So if it would be okay, if you could please tell us, because you said yourself you haven't logged in a while, and maybe we have some people in the audience that don't even know who is Peanut Butter. Could you please tell us a little bit about your background so we can understand how much impact it has when you are saying users are get driven away because the platform is not accessible and is hard to use for everyday users?
Yeah, so whenever I started in Decentraland, it was probably even more of a ghost town than it is now. Whenever I started in Decentraland, I found Decentraland just from like doing just like crypto stuff, just like probably everybody else. But at the time, it was like way before, like probably like a year or so before, kind of like the meta boom and stuff like that. And Decentraland had already been like kind of like a popular wave before I joined, but it kind of fell off again. Like whenever Decentraland first like had the initial land sale and like was doing active events where people could get wearables and like the first like layer one wearables and stuff like that. I feel like there was probably, people signing in and doing stuff on like a decently regular basis. But whenever I joined in like January 2021, I was running around for I think 2 days before I saw the first person that I found in Decentraland. And I remember whenever I was recording and I was like, "Holy shit! There's another person." And I thought it was so cool the first time that I had seen somebody, which it's actually kind of hilarious to think back on. But yeah, so whenever I started in Decentraland, I had just started making YouTube videos about Decentraland for fun because I had thought the idea of the metaverse and building on the blockchain was a really cool idea. So yeah, I was like, I made YouTube videos, just tutorials, like intros, how to get into Decentraland, the different things to do, and just like this, that, and the other. And that's really how I kind of became popular in the space. About 8 or 9 months later is whenever I had started working for the Decentraland Foundation. One of the first projects that I worked with the foundation for was making the teaser video for the 2021 music festival, which is one where like Dead Mouse and like a bunch of big artists where like a lot of people had first joined. So working on that project, looking back, was like honestly one of the coolest experiences, just because like everything that was going on and just like being so like new and fresh into it, and just like the enthusiasm that everybody had for the space was just like super cool. But yeah, I just wish that hype continued, and I wish that the foundation used like its resources properly to have like real development done on like a platform that could have been really cool. Like I don't know like how there's been such a lack of development with the tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars that have been spent on it. Whenever a game like Expedition 33 could have 20 people that build it and have like a revolutionary game that's like going to be like one of the best games for probably the next 10 years from like build like 20 people building it. Like kind of insane.
It is wild how little it feels like has actually happened in the last year.
Okay, I think Jared want to say that it's very interesting. Peanut butter, you're coming up with problems that are probably 2 or 3 years or more old, and we're just having the same problems. I would say maybe not the same, but very similar problems today. Like when you're telling me about the 2021 Metaverse Music Festival and the enthusiasm that you felt back then and the hype. I think this is maybe a topic we could also discuss today. Mariana also kind of scrapped around it. The hype was a very big thing because this brought in the users, and now where's the hype? Where are the users left? If we take a look at the Decentraland's mid-year recap, it says over 2.3 million unique visitors hit Decentraland web properties. This means the website. And we've had over 160,000 downloads of the new client, plus over 200,000 wallets interacting with the platform in 2005. I'm asking myself the question, where are they? Why don't we feel this inward? And is it just a matter of timing, or are these numbers not the whole story? This is a idea that I have, and I see we have a new requested speaker. And Peanut Butter, thank you very much for sharing this insights. I hope you stay a little bit longer so we can go into it. I just would like to give everyone that came up a little bit space to share their opinion. And Silver Meat Sticks, I would love to hear your opinion on this as a host of a weekly event in the Decentraland for I don't know how many years, and as a community leader in the space, would love to hear your opinion on this.
No, we're not feeling it. It's just us, all 38 of us downloading the Decentraland and uninstalling. No,
Okay,
okay,
this is
but
a hot topic. This is a good joke. You're stealing. You and Jared are stealing all my jokes for today. I hate you for this, but please continue.
no, no, no.
Well, that is a
I
common
will
step
say, I
in
will
QA
say,
in support. They're like, please re-download.
Please don't forget the rule, Jared. Sinful. Please continue.
I will say I did hear that from a friend. I don't know if friend wants me to share, but he is both of our friend. And I mean, I really didn't have anything to continue. I mean, in what you asked me for, like my thoughts, but like in what let's or like in what pertaining to which topic, because we've kind of covered a few things so far.
We covered a few things. That's totally right. I would like to know. So, since the motto is today is skin is a city, a ghost town, maybe I would really like to know how you feel about this, because I have a very personal feeling. Maybe I can share it now. Okay, maybe this sounds maybe this sounds sad, but I think last year was way harder than this year. I see I'm not sure if I would call it a positive trend, but what I'm seeing is I see new users where 1 year ago I met not any new users at all. I see new events popping up, not many, but there are some. I remember a time where we had only a few events, and even that events, we lost them with the new client. I see that this is coming a little bit back. So I feel like it's getting better right now, but maybe I'm alone with this. And I would love to know, Sinful, how are you feeling? Is it getting better? Are we on a positive trend, or maybe is this just denial from my side?
No, definitely no denial. I do agree with you that that we are seeing new users. Like, I mean, every time I log in, it's almost feeling like I'm meeting someone new or seeing some random wallet run around. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of us that use the platform a lot have kind of taking the journey into building, and kind of once you become a builder, you can't spend as much time on Decentraland because it's so labor intensive whenever you do use Decentraland for your computer. And I mean, no, I mean, we are at lows, but I definitely agree with you that there is some sort of life. There's definitely there's builders that we're not seeing out there. I can, like, from where Make's land is, where he hosts the Friday night events. That road, every week when I log in and I look up and down those roads, there's something new there, or some change or something along a major Decentraland road. So that indicates to me that there are people kind of exploring, but maybe we're just not reaching them.
This maybe not reaching them is a very interesting thing, because I was thinking about it too. So if we have these numbers from that the foundation has given us with let me check, I think it was 160K, yes, 160,000 downloads of the new client. So if you're asking us where these users are, maybe it is they logged in, saw an empty world, and maybe they were just wandering around alone, seeing the empty places, and they left. So I really try to understand where this is coming from, because what I am seeing is when I'm in Decentraland, the users are always very welcoming to new users, but maybe it's just not enough. As Peanut Butter already said, the platform is lagging on accessible tools for people to use. We need to think, how do we want to attract in Decentraland? Right now, the marketing is much about social. It's the social metaverse, and maybe we can't live up to these expectations when you're entering a world that is completely empty, because in some time zones, this is just something that we need to accept. There is no one in the Decentraland. And I would love to have Fancy today here, because Fancy has started this discussion in the CBD Discord by saying, at the time, I think it was for me like 7 a.m., but I think for Fancy it was like late in the evening. And they just stated, okay, where is everyone? I'm logging in and no one is here. So is this the average experience a new user has in the Decentraland? And yeah, I see we have a new request coming up. Let me see who wants to join us. It's Ellen Helwig, and I love this, Ellen. You're just coming in the right time. So I hope I don't see you as a speaker, Ellen. Oh, I see you now. So, and you had a very nice conversation with Fancy in the
Hey.
CBD Discord. Can you maybe explain it to us?
Hi, Toxic. Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me. I've never used Twitter Spaces before, so I don't. Is this sounding okay?
For me, it's awesome.
Uh-oh.
I hear you very good.
Okay, perfect. Joy, where to start? I'd never met Fancy before. It was a strange conversation late at night. I didn't think it would lead to anything, to be honest. I don't know. I guess if I was to address your main question, is Decentraland a ghost town? I would say no, it's not a ghost town, because a ghost town has nobody in it at all. And there are people in Decentraland. I think the numbers are frighteningly low. And when I hear this number that 160,000 downloads for the client have occurred, I that number blows my mind. 160,000? I don't want to say I don't believe it, but it seems very high. I mean, 16,000 might even seems high.
Sorry, Ellen,
There's only about 100 people.
I don't want to interrupt you, but Kimbo has said
No.
something in world that is just coming to this point, and I would love to
Mhm.
read it out. So Kimbo, the head of marketing in the center, is saying people in world is not 100% of the people engaging with DCL. Lots of builders, animators, all working in other programs than a quick deploy. And there are definitely some lurkers, 100%, as Kimbo is saying, but also bringing us back to the 160,000. And yeah, I also think shouldn't I see them because they spend so much time at Genesis Plaza? Shouldn't at least some of them maybe stay or engage with us?
Well, if even 1% of those people were around in World, I think you'd be looking at, what, 1,600 people? And there's a lot of times I'll show up at night and there's less than 10 in World. I hate saying this. I love Decentraland. I really do. And I will keep hanging out there and building stuff and trying to do stuff as long as Decentraland exists. But I don't know where to go. I mean, my guess is, my guess is the main problem is anyone that does show up, there's very little going on currently. There are events, and I agree with what you guys have been saying that there are people building, and I do feel like the numbers have bottomed out, and I think that we're growing again. It's just seems to be really slow. And my guess is that there's two things. Accessibility is very difficult. I wish the web browser still worked properly. I think that's just infinitely more easy for people to access Decentraland through the browser. But that's life. We have to move on. It's the client. The client is amazing, but there seems to be a roadblock for people to download it and start using it. I don't know what that is exactly. It's kind of shocking to me, again, because I do think the client is a huge improvement over the browser in terms of capabilities and functionality. So I'll stop there.
And thank you so much. I think this is something that also Peanut Butter has touched earlier with I think we could maybe bring it down to the point we need to have tools that are accessible for us to use and easy to use, because this is something that I'm seeing right now in the chat as well. First, I see Multi-NFT saying we need events in Decentraland. Without events, and this is something that Derek also mentioned, no one has a reason to come in. I saw that Sinful Meat Sticks has raised his hand. Would you like to add something to this, Sinful?
I think you pretty much summed it up. Yeah, I was gonna say, like the Decentraland at its current state, any new user that logs in needs to have their handheld in order to just be able to know get up to speed on like what's happening. Like I don't know. A lot of people may not even see like the board that's right in front of them when they spawn in Genesis Plaza. I mean, the Explore tool used to be nice. It wasn't perfect, but it was very, very nice in highlighting events, worlds, populated areas. I mean, like, and that's like something simple that should have been here. I mean, I feel like it should have been here upon release, but I mean, I'm just rambling. Sorry.
No rambling. I love this because I just today was thinking about, do you guys remember the global chat? This is something that I nearly totally forget about. But back in the days, in the old client, it was so useful to have the global chat and just, being able to chat with everyone that's online and not just maybe nearby you. And before we're going deeper into this, I just want to, because the discussion in the Decentraland is kind of interesting right now, and with kind of, I mean it's going hot. I see much discussion about the voice chat that Kimbo just said that is just around the corner. And Multi is saying he has no need for a voice chat. We can talk here all day without it. We can run events where the streamer answers the chat. And Rishi Girl is bringing up a point that Web3 and crypto was a major problem for her when she entered it back in the days. Now we have new login features, like you can just log in with your Google account. Yeah, we are having AJ. Oh, AJ is also coming up as a speaker. Welcome, AJ. I didn't forget you. So, AJ, if you would like to add anything, let me quick see what's going on in the chat, because I want to hear all the voices today. Yes, Peanut Butter is confirming you can start with a Google account now. And I see many new friends. If you want me to add something, please add me in the chat so I can see it and can just go for it. So AJ, sorry, what would you like to add? Is Decentraland a ghost town?
Just some housekeeping. There's a new bug in the chat. So if people are having a hard time typing in the chat in World, just get a DM to somebody. So click on if you're having trouble, we'll send you a DM. Click on that and then click back to the main chat, and then you should be able to chat in the text box. There's some UI that covers it, and you're not able to type in there. But if you click a DM and then click away, then you should be able to get to that. I posted a question from Lastrum because he wasn't able to type that in, but I think now he can. So I'll allow you to address his question. But what I wanted to point out, there's a lot going on, and just from somebody who all this summer I've been working on improving my knowledge of development. So I've spent some time with SDK in the Creator Hub and Visual Studio Code. Before I found Decentraland, I used to use this thing called Mindtest. It's an open source alternative to Minecraft. It's called Luanti now, but it started in 2009. And whatever, it's pretty extensive. It's been around twice as long as Decentraland has. And there are thousands of people that use it. The most recent, it was updated, one of the repos was updated 2 hours ago. I'm just looking on GitHub. The Decentraland UI, something was updated 14 minutes ago. So that's just looking at the repositories. There's 483 repositories for Decentraland. There's 14 for Mindtest. So when people say there's nothing going on in Decentraland, I understand they mean publicly, right? It is a social, it's a decentralized social application, right? I can't call it a social network. I mean, it's a lot more than that. And I think that therein lies the problem. It's like, what exactly is it? If you were asked to describe it to somebody and you were to list all the things that it can do, it's like, it sort of defies categorization. And, back when Windows VisiCalc came out, that was considered the killer app. It's like, do we know yet what the killer app for a metaverse, any metaverse, not just Decentraland is? And I know that you do tripping out with Tank Poker and you go to Roblox. That's something that is a very mature, platform. I think it started in 2009, also same time as Mindtest did or whatever. So yeah, I just want to point out that there has been a lot of work done. And yeah, I would agree with you. A year ago, I was kind of scratching my head. I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work. But what was it, January, when the Client 2.0 came out, and I was one of the alpha testers. So I know that perhaps event-wise or socially, or from the builder standpoint, there's been a lot of reset, and I think we're getting there. I've been working with Dogman on my game. I think we're going to call it Drop Zone, not really sure. But, I've been learning a lot, and, he's come back for the first time in a while. And, we've had conversations about, oh yeah, this is welcome to developing a Decentraland was a common refrain I heard from him, and I mentioned it myself. So there are some things, and, I've had Lastrum help me develop some tools in the past too. And so yeah, it can be frustrating to put it lightly. But yeah, I mean, there have been a lot of frustrations, but I also want to be one of the voices that say, hey, yeah, there's been a lot of fucking hard work, and it shows. And I think we habituate to it very easily. Like a new thing comes out, and it's like, okay, that's cool. Okay, now I want this next thing. And I, having been a project manager, having been an animation director, having been an art director, it's really important to just pause and, take an honest look, take an honest inventory. Post-mortem is what we used to call them, and just say, okay, yes, this all sucked. Now, what are some of the things that are really good, right? And I think there has been some progress and some benefits, at least in the last 8 months, perhaps not the last year, but I don't know what's been going on behind the scenes. If I could dig deeper down into the GitHub, I could look at the pull requests, and I could look at the pushes, but I can put the link in here, and you can look at the 483 repositories. You can see how active it's been. You can see how much work has been done, to try to make things better. And if there is no platform, if there is no software bed for us to experience this upon, then it doesn't matter, right? Planning events, all that sort of stuff. This is the real foundation. It's like, this is to happen, and that's the work that they have been doing, and I be recognized for that. Okay,
thank you very much, AJ. So basically, what you are saying is, like if you're looking back 1 year ago, it looked not so good as it's looking today, and you are saying that there's something that I'm also feeling with the new client. We have made so much improvements in this time that just as Rishi stated out, for her, it was very hard to enter the space back then when she just had options, web-free options to log in. Foundation is working hard on making it more accessible. On the same side, we need to focus on the future, what we would like to have and how we wish things are getting better. And I just seeing we have much discussion right now in world. Last Realm is now able to type. Thank you very much for being here, Last Realm. And I see he is talking with Kimbo about the downloads of the unique users. And I see Last Room was asking, does it include the Creator Hub? So we are talking about the 160K new installed clients. And Kimbo was saying this does not include the Creator Hub. And at this point, major shout out to Kimbo for being here in well with us and discussing with us. This is absolutely not unseen. I value this very much that you're coming here, Kimbo, and talking with us and answering our questions and being part of this discussion, because I think it's very important to have this kind of discussions to make things better in the future. And let me see what's going on in the chat right now. I see Kimbo and Last Round discussion about the unique downloads. Very interesting. If you're not in the Decentraland right now, you're missing. If you're not in the chat, I see Mariana saying Web3 gaming in general is still finding its positioning in the market, and this is absolutely true. I think this is something that Peanut Butter was also stating, at least on CBD, on the DAO Discord, that users are driven to other platforms. And I would like to ask Peanut Butter, what kind of platforms would you say are doing things better than Decentraland, and maybe can we learn from them for the future?
I think the best example of a user-generated platform that's doing really well is Roblox. I don't think that I've ever even actually went on Roblox myself, but the amount of people that I see play it, talk about it, build there, I mean, they're obviously doing well. It's like there've been a lot of creators that have left Decentraland to go build in Roblox. I'm not really too sure of many other just like mainstream user-generated platforms like that that are just like completely like just like user generated. I know in like there's like a lot of other games where you could build like games within the game. But yeah, no, just like what Roblox does is really good. I'm sorry, I'm kind of rambling a little bit right now. I was typing something else whenever you asked. You put me on the spot a little bit, but yeah,
it's totally okay, Peanut Butter. I love, this format is called WTF. So I think a little rambling is totally okay here. And honestly, we wouldn't all be talking here in this space in our free time if the Decentraland wouldn't mean anything to us, even if it's maybe that we have nice memories in the past, because you just mentioned the Metaverse Music Festival, and honestly, you were talking about 2021, but the music festival that was stuck in my mind very much was the one in 2022 with Ozzy Osbourne as a guest. Maybe you all remember this too. I mean, this just came in my mind a little bit because Ozzy Osbourne just died a few days ago. And I was reminded of this time. For me, this was one of the first really big events that I was visiting in the Decentraland. And I was streaming back then. And it was just, for me, so crazy that, so many people from all parts of the world coming together to see freaking Ozzy Osbourne. Back then, I was very sick. I have a chronic illness, and it was very active back then. And I was thinking I can never ever go in my life to a concert again. And then just Ozzy Osbourne walked walked in the Decentraland beside me. This was something so nice, and I really love thinking back on this. And to be honest, I'm kind of thinking of myself, what's holding us back from bringing in the masses, because back then, for me, the client was so much more laggy than that. I totally feel that this is getting better. Since at least with the new client, even if we experience new bugs and all this kind of stuff, for me, and maybe I'm crazy, and please tell me, friends, if I'm crazy, but for me, this is part of the whole experience, because I'm not in Roblox. I'm not a customer that is expecting to have a finished product and that I'm paying for. And I want someone that, you know, in the Decentraland, I'm feeling like I'm kind of part of an evolution. And this is why I'm doing the spaces, because I think we as a community can shape much of how the future will look like. So I would like to take a quick look in the chat. Sorry, no, I was rambling. This topic is so hot. I really love it, because the 38 user meme, the dead mall vibes. This is also much stuff that kind of got buried in the last few years, and I hope the topic is interesting for everyone here. So okay, catching up with the chat. I see Jobs talking about Farcaster. And if you're not following Jobs on Farcaster, friends, you really should do it. He's very active there. I see Kimbo is addressing to the bug that we're experiencing right now. For everyone that's listening in world, if you have problems with a chat bug, as AJ just stated, switch between the DMs and the nearby chat, and you can chat again. Kimbo is escalating it to the team. I see Mariana logging in to Forecaster to play her 4 games. Okay. Okay, Kimbo is saying this story sticks with me so much. So glad we could give you the type of experience. Oh, okay, yeah, talking about the Metaverse Music Festival and Ozzy Osbourne. And I see Last Realm. I don't think the problem is necessarily a DCL problem. It's a larger Web3 problem. What is the value prop versus other console games? And this is a very interesting point. Last Realm is also saying DCL was much laggier, buggier, and 4-year-old SDK, and had 34,000 people in DCL in day one. And this is the kind of direction we're going right now in the in-world chat. And I'm very happy to see so many of you there. And I see Melariok requested to speak. So maybe this is the perfect time to go back to our topic. Is Genesis City a ghost town? And Melariok, I would love to hear your opinion on this, because you just had a very nice presentation of the Decentraland in a university. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about this, and maybe tell us, how did you navigate to show the new people the Decentraland, and maybe explain to them, when you're logging in, don't expect the masses, but maybe see the Decentraland as something with potential for the future. So very hyped to hear you, Metaria.
Thank you very much for accepting us to speak. I'm currently outside walking, and usually I try to listen to the latest news, but I saw that you have this space, and just try to log in, try to see and hear what's the topic that you guys are discussing. So I think the key topic here is Genesis City a ghost town. So I just want to provide some thoughts, and as well as some suggestions, looking at the data and statistics of the overall gaming industry, right? So personally, I'm not a gamer, so I don't really play games. But when we look at the statistics of people logging in to play, what kind of games that they play, and if you notice, right, the top 5 or top 10 games that are being played are always simple shooting games, right? I know I keep saying this a lot, but this is something that I've been seeing a lot as well. So when I log into Discord, I see some of the Decentraland community members. Sometimes when they play something, they will actually show you in Discord what they are playing. So I see people like playing Fortnite. I see people are playing Roblox. some games like Counter-Strike used to play a lot. So when you see the data itself, you cannot deny that shooting games are one of the top 5 or top 10 games overall worldwide. Everybody from all walks of life would play because it's easy, right? WASD, shoot with the left mouse. So, and this is something I realized that I tend to come into Decentraland almost every day just to take a look what's the recent event, and I just hop into the most of the time it's always social like party, someone DJing, live streaming DJ, and then just automated dance, and I mean that's fun and all, but you don't have an objective, right? There's no there's no game that you can come in and straight away do something, right? When a new user hop into Decentraland, they go into the Genesis Plaza, and then they will look into the events. But if there's no live events happening, there's nothing else to do. I mean, Foundation did a good job of putting some uh, uh, things to do, right? Collect certain points or certain coins after completing an objective, which is fine, but it's not as thrilling and something that people would stay and just play, right? So when I look into Roblox, like what Peanut Butter say, right? Roblox is another platform that people tend to drop in. And then when I look at the top 20 games, zombie games itself or zombie attack games are in the top 20, and they attracted over like 100,000 to 500,000 players a day or a week, right? And when I look into these games, because my son loves to play these games, so I try to take a look and see how easy these games are. And my son is only like 10 years old, and my daughter is 8 years old, and they play the same game. So, and I look at how easy this game is, and when I log in to this zombie attack game, and I was like, wow, this is very simple. And if you look at the way they design the zombie, it's just so simple. It's not like those Resident Evil kind of design, right? But it's just simple because the objective is simple. Take a gun, shoot, score, and after you kill a certain number of zombie, you reach to the next level. So I think Decentraland, in my opinion, has yet to experiment or explore this kind of content, right? I'm not quite sure so I'm not a developer, so I do not know how easy or how hard it is to create something like this. And because we have so many plazas that are empty, I was thinking, why not explore turning one plaza into like a battleground where everybody can play and just shoot, right? Spawning automated spawn of zombies so people can just shoot and score the highest. So at least when I come to Decentraland, there's a button for me to say to click and say, all right, spawn some zombie. I just want to shoot some zombies. And when you start to have this few, I think a lot of people will start to join because it doesn't matter what platform that you are in, whether it's Fortnite, whether this is Xbox or PlayStation, um, games that involve shooting, right? It has always been the most attracted game. So I think this is something for developers or even the foundation representative that is listening to this call. Try to look at this option or suggestion because I'm basing on the data, right? I'm not a gamer again. So what I see that people play the most are simple shooting games with simple objective. Shoot as much as you can and then go to the next stage. That's it. So yeah, this is just my my opinion and suggestion to everyone here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madario. I love this. So I just asked the Decentraland community in Word if we need a zombie game. And so far, the answers for user have voted. Friends, don't forget to use the poll feature. And if you have a question that you would like to see in the poll, please let me know. Yeah, all the users would love to have a zombie game, and I think this is something that would really help to keep new users engaged, because I honestly think, oh, I see Sinfor Meetsick is coming up. Sinfor, give me a second. I see some users in world are discussing, and I would like to give them some space. Okay, the chat is chat is on fire. I love this. Okay, we are having many discussions right now. I'm sorry if I don't say everything, friends. Please tag me if you would like me to point it out in the space. Last Raum is sending a hot take. I think the remaining 38 people would have no problem with the foundation hiring a team to continue building the browser, or even building a brand new browser experience. I think this is right now happening in the Regenesis labs. Let me search. I can send you the Regenesis Labs plan for the next 18 months. Then I see Mariana adding also the current Web3 cycle shifted to a TGA farming mindset. So we go to platforms where they can get XP or future kinds. Redacted is, aka Jared, is saying, hear me out. What if the DAO and foundation just give every employee and active user an even split of the treasury? Interesting thought. We have Kimbo saying open source so totally can happen that a team builds a browser. This is, yeah. We have Ellen Homewick adding, in my opinion, we just need 500 or so daily users, and then things will start to grow organically. How do we get more people in? I hope Art Week is the spark that it needs. And this is a very interesting question. I also have written it down before the space because I would like to talk about it. That maybe our expectations are wrong. Maybe we should rethink what success looks like. What if the Decentraland isn't meant to be filled with crowds of 100, 200, 500,000 users every day? What if we're measuring ourselves with Web2 expectations? And do we need new ways to talk about success in the decentralized, slow-growing space like the Decentraland? And this is the next poll I'm going to start. Yeah, now I'm seeing Dow said, yeah, Jared is adding, sorry friends, the chat is too wild. I have problems to keep up with everything. So if you have a hot take, please let me know now and tag me in world. I see Sinfometrics and Peanut Butter have their hands up. I'm not sure who was first. Since Peanut Butter got the first shot earlier, I would now suggest Sinful. So Sinful, please let us know what you're thinking.
I mean, it wasn't like anything deep and profound. I was just gonna say that with Meta Ryuk's recommendation of a game, maybe a zombie shooter game, like that would be the perfect opportunity for I don't know, smart wearables to house entire like little mini games that like happen within the actual world that you're on, instead of just like one little land. I'll pass it to you, PP.
Yo. So I don't necessarily have a question, more so just a thought. So in 2021 or 2020, when Decentraland was just starting, NFTs were kind of coming around. ETH was still only a few $100 and people were just starting to build on it. The idea of decentralization in crypto was awesome. And that's really what drove a spike to the metaverse and to Decentraland, I feel like, in the initial like mainstream wave. Fast forwarding to 2025, you could connect your MetaMask wallet to a MasterCard and pay with crypto literally anywhere you go. You could use your PayPal to pay with crypto anywhere you want to pay with PayPal. There's so many more examples. The Genius Act with the USA just signed, where stable coins have, you have to have like actual infrastructure to like a stable coin if you're going to build a stable coin. Like there's so much less decentralization to crypto nowadays. Is decentralization even something that people in crypto are still looking for? And is there a way that Decentraland could redirect? Is Decentraland even still focused on decentralization? Like, is that a major part of what people are looking for in crypto? And should that even be a major, focus of the platform. I don't know, kind of just a thought, not necessarily what I was expecting to kind of lead into a question, but I don't know, like yeah, like decentralization was an awesome idea in crypto, but there's so many ways to use crypto that's beneficial without decentralization. I don't know.
I think this is a super interesting point because I think much of the marketing in early DCL days was just about decentralization. And we now need to answer the question for ourselves. I think everyone for ourselves, but also the foundation for them and DAO. Is decentralization something that brings in the masses, or maybe it's something that we just need to overcome for the future and put other things to the focus? And I see, Peanut Butter, your hand is up. Do you want to add something? Or is it still up from earlier?
Probably up from earlier.
Sorry. Okay, I saw Sinful Meat6 raising his hand, and then we have Make NFT. Hello, hello, Make. But first, Sinful, please let us know what you
No,
think.
no, I was opening my mic to tell you that my hand has been down. So make the floor is
Oh,
yours.
sheesh. Okay, Make, please come in and tell us what you're thinking. Is Genesis City a ghost town? And maybe you already listened to the space and would like to add something to one of the speakers. So I see, before you start, Make, sorry, I see Kimbo is tagging me. Totally a good point. We have found decentralization isn't a key point for new user acquisition for Decentraland specifically, which is why we only talk about it in specific groups versus mass marketing. And thanks for this insight, Kimbo. So Make, now the stage is yours.
Hey, Toxic, and thanks for hosting the space. Super good. I hope everybody's doing well today. I got a lot of layers. I was also there, even though I wasn't as present, for Music Fest, and I've been hopping in and out of Decentraland before we really locked in roots and started going every week with Sin and everything. And I got a bunch of things. First and foremost, at least for me on my end, Decentraland is now stable. That is something I never got to experience before the client. Honestly, I never got to look around Decentraland. Half the time, it would never work for me, you know? And I know a lot of people are like, well, it's not a browser now and it's not decentralized. Well, you know what the difference is? It works. And maybe we are starting at a point where people don't feel like that's innovation. For me, it's a huge amount of innovation. I can go run around and I can go and stand in any space or invite anybody there. And I know if they manage to get a browser installed, that they're not going to have an experience where everything's green. I know we've had up to, on very special nights, 70, 80, 100 people have walked through our party one way or another, and everybody can have that actual experience. And I think we should just take one moment to say that's a huge accomplishment, at least from where we were. So that's A. And then next, when it also comes to an application, at the end of the day, almost all these platforms, with maybe some few exceptions, are now running clients. They're just doing it in reverse. They're doing it where you hit the web first, you log into your account, and then you launch a client. So I think maybe, and I know everybody's got different emotions about that feeling, and that is mine. But the stability of Decentraland, I think, should be at least appreciated from most of us. Um, when Decentraland came out and there was everybody running in, there was also COVID. There was also everybody sitting in their house. And there was a wild speculation that metaverse was going to be the thing. And it was all attached to money. At the end of the day, most of those people who went and spent all that money on spaces never came to build a goddamn thing. They were just speculating, just like everybody who sits on there chasing meme coins currently. That's really what they were doing. They weren't going there to build a store. They just wanted to make a bag. And I think we have to be okay with realizing that that's how most this space works. So, you know, I'm not a meme coin guy, but I watch it every day. And so what is it that a lot of people feel that they deserve? And it doesn't really matter what platform or what project you're in. People want to be rewarded for their time. And, with the projects or different things where somebody's getting something back for attending or being a part of things is a huge part of what crypto is now in every single thing. There are so few projects right now that exist that are still flourishing that are like, hey, our only sole job is just to hang out together. So, and then
Sheesh.
I,
Oh,
but
sorry.
no, and then there's like another layer of truth. It's like, okay, so what we generally do is throw damn parties and we have a good time all together in Decentraland. What do we need now to bring back the users is more consistent, stronger catalyst moments. And those catalyst moments can't just be a week or a day or a theme. They have to be consistent. So, and I don't want to show all my cards, but I will just say, brand activations that do things consistently, whether that is streaming, whether that is integrating some of these amazing new platforms, like, and I'm not going to put one in front of the other, whether that's abstract or party or certain music platforms that have DJ streaming every week, that have hundreds, if not thousands of users. What we need is collective catalyst moments, and maybe we should be focusing on brand partnerships where we can extend what people do to welcome in large groups of people. It's an amazing to have micro experiences, but micro experiences lead to micro groups. I mean, and again, I'm not saying who does what. I know we've brought in a bunch of new users through what we do through our events in one form or another. That's not going to fill the Genesis Plaza to the brim, one user at a time. Brand activations within our ecosystem, I think, are absolutely huge, and I think we really should look at real ways to incentivize with play to earn experiences, because at the end of the day, I really don't know a successful project or platform where people are not finding ways to earn in Web3. I don't know that Web3 still is our goal, but without those facets, without people feeling like their time is worth money in our particular space, it is very hard to bring people in a consistent basis. So those are my thoughts. I love me some You Toxic. I'm going to show up till it's empty. Kisses.
Thank you, Meg. And I honestly believe if the Central is a ghost town and whoever makes the lighthouse last, it's gonna be you, Meg. I really love what you're doing for the Central, and please keep up with the amazing events because this is what we need. And you pointed out consistency, and I think this is something very important for all of us because it's not about only onboarding new users, but keeping them in. And for this, we need consistency. We need to be there. We need to be present. And I would like to throw a quick view into InWorld. So I had a poll going on, is the Decentraland meant to be filled with crowds every day? 12 users have voted and 75% are saying yes, it needs to be crowded every day, and 25% are saying no. The next poll I want to start is inspired by Ave Jobs. He is saying some things need to be centralized until a better decentralized option exist. So now I want to like to ask the users in world exactly this. Sorry. So do we need, should decentralization be top priority or something we aim for? And friends, please let me know in the toll pool, and sorry for my writing. Priority is a very hard to pronounce word for me. So yes, let me send this poll real quick, and I see we have a new speaker coming up. Give me a second. Okay, so I updated the poll, friends. Please let me know what you are thinking. Oops, and I sucked in it. So give me a second for the for the poll. And in the meantime, I'm gonna say hello to Zipper that just came up to speak here. Hello, hello, and please take the mic. The stage is yours.
Hi. I don't want to eat up a lot of your time. I'm actually not on your platform, but I have been watching Toxic Waifu for quite a while on Twitter and just decided to pop in here and listen to what you're talking about. I happen to be from a platform called Second Life, and a lot of what you're discussing about like population in the metaverse are some of the same struggles that we are facing. And I know that Decentraland is a completely different space, but I wanted to kind of just say the things that Make was saying are some of the things that we as creators on the Second Life platform are trying to integrate and have found success. So if that boosts that comment in any sort of way, I just wanted to say, hey, I agree with that. And I think it would go in the right direction for you guys. And that's it. Thank you for listening.
Ashish, thank you so much for coming in, Sibyl. I was very happy to see you here because I follow you on X for quite a time now, and I really love your content. And thank you so much for bringing this insights from Second Life. In Decentraland, we had some very nice events by CBD, by Canessa and Sinful, where they connected the Second Life community with us in Decentraland. And it was so strange to see, even if we all look different with our avatars, but how similar we are. And so learning from Second Life is something very nice. And I think, yeah, maybe this is not the problem that the central and the Genesis City is a ghost town. And friends, maybe the title of today's space is a little bit made for spiciness, but maybe this is just a problem that many platforms are currently having. When I'm looking at Habbo Hotel or other platforms like just mentioned Second Life, maybe this is something that just these words have, even if other platforms like Roblox seem to not have a problem with it. I see some hands are coming up. Peanut Butter and Metaryuk. I don't know who was first. So, Metaryuk, what would you like to add? Because I think it's very late or very early for you. I'm not sure right now.
Peanut Butter hands up first, so let him go
Okay,
first.
Peanut Butter, please feel free.
Love the meta. You're awesome. Also, shout out to Make. What I wanted to say was just kind of a follow back to a few things Make said, which I had the opportunity to meet Make in Miami. We hung out for a while. He's one of the coolest dudes I've ever met. So shout out to Make. But yeah, one of the things he was saying is getting brands in Decentraland, and the value of that. And I wish Lastrum was on the stage because I know he's in World, or hopefully is still. It doesn't really matter. But because Lastrum helped with a bunch of brand initiatives in Decentraland early on, Samsung being one of the most prominent ones. But there's only so much value to bringing brands into Decentraland whenever the platform is only capable of doing so much. Like you mentioned, only having a certain number of people in before the platform's unstable. Like if Samsung's tweeting out to 10 million people to join into Decentraland, and the platform isn't capable of doing it or providing a cool experience for people to come in and want to come back, like there's only so much value to that. So brand value is awesome, but like I wish there was more ways for the platform to capitalize on that, because there could have definitely been a lot of value added to that from a lot of the early brands that were in Decentraland. Coca-Cola being another huge one that had a really awesome build, and was doing stuff in Decentraland early on, was enthusiastic about the metaverse, but it's just limited to what was able to be developed for them essentially. And then another thing that he was talking about was just people coming back because they want to have to earn things. Like most of the games are virtual worlds that I spend time in. I play a lot of World of Warcraft. I play because I want to farm items and earn things, but it's I don't necessarily go because I'm trying to make money or something. The platform has to be enjoyable for the average user. Decentraland should shoot for people who are playing on their computer, that have a computer that are capable of running Decentraland, and have something that's that they would want to come back into Decentraland to do. I think would it'd be the most valuable. But yeah, shout out to Make. Go ahead, Meta.
Ashish, I love hearing from users that I have met in real life. This is so crazy. Didn't know that Peanut Butter and Make has sped up in Miami. Sounds awesome. Someday I want to hear the party stories. And yes, Peanut Butter, I think this is a point that you just raised about if we are onboarding the masters now, how is the platform reacting to it? Are we ready for this? This is something that I'm asking myself constantly, because sometimes when I'm doing TikTok videos and sometimes I'm putting ads on them, I always think, okay, but what if this is now the TikTok? Because I really believe someday some of my TikToks will go viral and bring in the masses. At least this is what keeps me sleeping well nights. But yeah, sometimes I'm thinking, okay, what if we are missing our shot because that we are onboarding, let's not talk to masses, but you know what I mean, like onboarding new people, a mass of new people, and then we are showing them maybe they are experiencing bugs or whatever, and we're just missing the shot that we are waiting for so hard. So right now I have the feeling that many things that are happening right now are meant that we are just preparing for a time where we can start reaching out really. But this is only my my feeling. I I see we have Medariok with the hand risen, and so Medariok, please feel free to add anything.
So just want to talk about what Vic's mentioned about brand. I do believe and I do agree that brand partnership is very important as well. The issue that I have is not about the brand partnership. I do think that we have a lot of brands in Decentraland. The only challenge that I feel here is how do we amplify that these brands exist? And I think that's the kind of question that I had. When I was presenting this at the local university, one of the first thing that we do is to go to the events page. And when we see like there's a lot of category, there's business, there's games, there's casino and stuff like that. So one issue that I see here is that many of these scenes are no longer there. You have it there, but it's empty, right? So I was a bit embarrassed when I was demoing some of the scenes that I could find from the category on business. There were some scenes, but most of the scenes were empty. Some of the land had been sold. So it was quite embarrassing when I was presenting this demo. So that's one. Second, one of the participant or one of the students were asking, they were actually comparing it to Sandbox. So the question was, how can we find the brands that are in currently Decentraland? So high profile brands like Samsung, Coca-Cola, like what some of the speakers here mentioned, right? So how do we amplify that these brands exist? When I look into Decentraland.org, there is nowhere in the page that shows me that there are brands that exist there. So you either, as a new user, when you come in, you need to explore yourself to identify the brands yourself by by accident or by chance that you will see, oh, there's a Deutsche Bank here. There's a active bank here, right? Oh, sorry, I'm coming from the financial institute perspective. That's why I'm talking about banks, because I'm collecting the number of banks in the Decentraland. So when I showed that slide regarding the financial institution in Decentraland, the list of banks in Decentraland, they were like quite amazed to see that there's so many banks inside Decentraland, right? But the thing is, when they asked, so how do we see what banks are inside? And I couldn't answer. So I thought when I go to the events page and see under category, under business and stuff, the brands are not there. We see a lot of location. Some are empty. Some are even useless. So I was a bit embarrassed. So I think to say that one brand is important. Second, I'm not quite sure who is in charge of the Decentraland.org site or the events page, but something needs to be done. Step one, to clean up what's empty. And second, someone needs to help to amplify that these brands exist in Decentraland. Because if a new industry professional comes in, the first thing they want to do and see, okay, who else is in Decentraland? And I'm not talking about, okay, we have some community members have seen. They don't give a shit about this community member scenes. They want to see high profile brands that is inside. If they are none, or they couldn't find one, then they will ask themselves, why should I join something that, So when they compare things like Sandbox, I was taken aback, because Sandbox, when you log in, you'll be able to see on top there's images of the brands inside. You can literally see quickly the main top 5 brands that is inside there. But Decentraland has that issue. We cannot show. we don't have that ability, or not say ability, but we don't have a way to amplify this brand. So I think what I'm not quite sure who is in charge, but Kim, if you are here, do take this up and find a way to talk to the people that's in charge of this site, and see if we can amplify some of these brands on the first page or whatsoever. As long as they can see that these brands exist, it would instill more confidence in them to either invest more or explore further. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madario. Glassroom, I see that you're coming up. Please let me quick check in world what's going on. We just had a poll. Should decentralization be top priority right now or something that we aim for? 12 users have voted. 33% are saying it's top priority and 66% are saying aim for it. Also, I see a discussion going on in the in-world chat between AJ, Mariana, and also Derek joined the conversation. AJ is saying follow parcels is a big problem. Broken scenes is also an issue. Outside of tentpole activations, there are no big brands in Decentraland. We could easily open source a sort of census of Genesis City. We all can go to the events page and download broken scenes, as AJ is saying. And I think this is a very big point that you pointed out, Metariok. I think you said a few things need to be done, clean up, and then identifying new brands and amplifying brands. Super interesting thought. I think Kimbo is not longer with us right now, but maybe we can hit her up with that after this. I see Mariana in world. Decentraland should allocate some rewards for Kaito Yappers to amplify what they do to Decentraland. Polygon just launched the campaign today to amplify the new egg layer. And Derek is saying, brand want to advertise to as many eyes as possible. What's the point when you can easily reach thousands on other platforms? And Peanut Butter is adding, I used to clean the events page, lol. I wished I could show, chat is too fast for me. I wish I could show you all some of the hate messages I got from deleting people's useless posts. Sheesh. Feel free to share them, Peanut Butter. I'm super interested now. AJ is saying to Derek, the special source of DCL is increased with time. Yeah, and Peanut Butter is also talking about the events. Bro, you don't need an event that lasts 37 months. Oh, okay. Mariana is saying, what if they were beating a Guinness World Record to have the longest event? Okay. I think in-world is now going funny. I think this is a perfect time to bring up Last Realm. I see your hand has risen. I would love to hear your opinion on this. I saw you much talking about and asking questions about the 6 months report of Decentraland. I think we all have much questions about this. Happy that Kim shared some of the insights. And Last time, what would you like to add to the discussion? Feel free to take the mic.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Peanut, for telling me to come up here. Yeah, 2021 was way different. I think somebody in the scene inside DCL said it, and I took a note before that, and I want to mention it. Just, brands chase eyes. And in 2021, the eyes were on NFTs in the metaverse, and they're not. And so we did the biggest brand activations ever, and no one can dispute that. And it's because we had contracts with these brands. They lasted for a certain period of time, and then we were supposed to take the scenes down. And so, they probably don't know, because there's no eyes on DCL, that we've reactivated all of those scenes. I don't know if we can do that outside the contract. So, for instance, Samsung, we had a rolling 3-month contract. Every 3 months, we'd re-sign and have an activation for the next 3 months in Decentraland. For Netflix, it was a one-time activation for their movie to garner eyes. They have things called experiential marketing, right? So you have traditional marketing, and then there's experiential marketing. And at the time, experiential marketing included AR, VR, metaverse. And so Netflix wanted to have this portion of their movie marketing budget go towards experiential marketing, which was for this Netflix maze, which is one of the coolest. Rustan is in the crowd, posted a really dope video on YouTube on how to find a shortcut in the maze, right? And it was an amazing scene. We did awesome work, but that ended, and that scene had to come down. And the same thing with Snapple, right? That was a brand activation that had to come down. All of our scenes outside of Samsung were very specific moments in time with the brand, and then they wanted it taken down. So, when you walk through these brands, if it still exists, that's great. It might exist without their permission. We don't know. And so it's hard to say, like, let's just bring all the brands back because you might not have permission. Our contracts ended in 2022. I haven't looked at those NDAs and those contracts in 3 years to see if we're even allowed to be using or re-showcasing Samsung or Netflix or Snapple or Wall Street Bets. I have no idea, right? So it's not just about like, hey, where are the brands? Let's get them back. The other part to that is what I said earlier about they chase eyes. The eyes are not on the metaverse anymore, whether for the good or bad of NFTs, the bull run that sort of hit the brakes on the metaverse. Maybe the metaverse as a whole didn't come to fruition, or what we thought an immersive 3D experience for the web would be. It's just not in their interest anymore. Their experiential marketing is not that anymore. And so that's why brands are not going to come to Decentraland, which gets to my last point. Decentraland had a person who ran the brands. His name is Adam Dakota. And I personally loved working with him. He brought in, he worked with partnerships with the Australian Open, with Elvis. He had brought us Wall Street Bets at Last Slice. So he was at the foundation sitting there, leveraging his network to bring in brands. And I think it has been said in the past 18 months that that is not the marketing strategy of this current regime. They were doing like organic stuff. They weren't doing paid, and they're not going for big brands. At least that's what my recollection was for that campaign. And I don't think anything has changed. So, somebody else lastly brought up the music festival, and then I'll stop talking. The music festival, does anyone know how much it cost the foundation to throw the biggest music festival they ever did? It was like $500,000 to $1 million. And so if you want to pay an artist, right? It's funny. Why do you think the foundation stopped doing the music festivals? Do you really think it was because they just were so nice and generous that they gave it to the community to run? No, it was always a shit show and it cost a ton of money. So the music festival with Deadmau5, Ozzy, Paris Hilton, all of those things cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, I know they make a lot of money. Anyone could do the math. 1.8 million mana a month times 30 cents. That's a lot of money that can be swapped out per month to be spent. So I don't think it's a money issue. I think it's a really bad approach from the top down. And I've always said that they've always gone in the wrong direction, but there's just a lot of things of why brands are no longer coming back.
Ashish, I always asked myself when I thought about the Metaverse music festivals, how the acts experience it and if this is something that I would like to come back to. Because I remember, I think it was also 2022, there was this big, huge stage that we had with, I remember that we had rain and grass that was growing from the ground and stuff like this. And it really looked nice when the engine worked. So yeah, totally a point if we get brands in here and we don't have a reason for them to stay, like because they have a bad experience and maybe don't want to be in the same pot as Decentraland just because the experience was bad for them, or maybe because they haven't got enough out of the how's it called, out of their audience of their event. Maybe this is the reason. So last time, thank you so much for your insights. Very valuable. I see in world we have a little discussions about brands that we would like to see to enter into Decentraland. And I asked it, what brands would you like to see? And Mariana just said, even having Patrick Penguins somehow would be great. Miguel Amago is adding, I prefer local creators, and he's saying he means us. So I added a few things I would like to see, and Avid Jobs, thank you very much for being here. He's just going to make some dinner for his family. Thank you so much, AJ, for being here. And friends, if you have some time after this, check out the jump zone at minus 131.91. And we have new users in World IC. We have you, Paul. Thank you so much for being here, and everyone who's staying with us. If you have any questions, would like to add anything, or maybe answer to one of our speakers, please feel free to write it in the chat and tag me. I'm doing my best to bring it into the space. Our poll, should decentralization be top priority right now, is something we aim for, has 13 votes in. Top priority saying 38% and aim for it saying 61%. I see Make is coming up as a speaker again and has his hand risen, so please, Make, the stage is yours.
I really appreciate it. And I am also, AJ, I feel you. I am doing the parent thing right now, and I have ditched my kids at a restaurant to jump back up. What I think two things, maybe even three things that I hope my kids are not ordering like tons of sodas and just ruining their teeth in reality right now. Okay. I just want to be clear on the brand thing that I don't know that Coca-Cola, Samsung, any of that, sure, like offer somebody a phone or whatever is going to hold anybody's attention. But I think there are tons of brands, Web3 brands, other things that can start changing the narrative. I think, and I'll just give a great example, SoundCloud. They're out there for the people. There might not be Web3, but they have every day people dropping music and doing things. It's like it's time to affiliate brands where there's potential of growth with people doing things that they have their heart on their sleeves, just like we do. I think the one thing we do have is users with, like, even if it's 38 to 100 to 1,500 to 10,000, heart on the sleeve, potential people who want to grow what it is they're trying to do. Not Coca-Cola, not Samsung, but things like SoundCloud, things that give people the ability to grow themselves. That's A. B, hot take, wild take, maybe instead of worlds and maybe instead of where we live now, maybe we have a layered truth of what Decentraland is. And maybe the truth of Decentraland right now is layer one. I don't think, and I truly love the way Decentraland is right now because it's what everybody did when they chose to create, right? It's so beautiful to see what people make. But maybe it's time we can toggle through the truth of what the history of Decentraland is, and maybe it's time for a new layer. Last, I'd say it's time to reward the people who didn't sell. I think being able to give them houses, places, and experience that they can walk into instead of build themselves. But like, hey, here's a parcel. You have 4 parcels. Here are your 10 houses. You could choose. And we find a way to reach out and touch people. We're not going to get everybody. And like Metaruk said, yes, there is a strong amount or a large amount of Decentraland that's a ghost town. But it is also a history of what has happened. So maybe we offer people a chance to come back and an easy entry in. Wow, maybe there is a another layer of Decentraland built on top. That is a fresh slate, and the people who have crossed over to 7 can start building and keep growing. That's what I got, Tox. I got to chase those kids, but I don't think we're that far off. I think we're closer than we've actually ever been. And I think, honestly, if you look at quote unquote decentralization in the broader Web3 community, it doesn't really exist anymore. I think most of the people who are tapping in are not using, VPNs and duck and covering who they are and hiding, keeping it real, quote unquote. I think most of us are just out here trying to be who the hell we want and be free. I think the best thing we could do is keep welcoming in people by activations that matter and not activations that are a facade that nobody gives a shit. I'm sorry, maybe a half of you, maybe a tenth of you own a Samsung phone or an iPhone. I don't think that's going to keep anybody here. I really, truly don't. But what I do think is there are tons of brands out there, whether it's Web3 or not, who are helping people grow what they believe in and what they do. And those are the activations. Those are the people we're looking for anyway. I rest my mic, as one of our friends say, and I believe in the future with you all.
Sheesh, Make, thank you very much for this. I am reading In World Make a President from Miguel Amago. I read that Multi's problem entering the world was that I was pressing the wrong chords. I'm so sorry. We have a poll ongoing right now in Decentraland. Do you want to see big or small brands entering DCL? Please don't forget to vote, friends. And let me check the chat. I see Mary Shark. Thank you so much for being here and good night. Yeah, I saw that the hand from Lastrom and Peanut Butter got up. I think Peanut Butter was earlier, so Peanut Butter, please feel free to add.
Last one was definitely first, but no, I gotta go first. I apologize,
Okay.
but
Sorry, Lastrom.
Make must have definitely not experienced the Samsung event or the Coca-Cola event, because the Samsung event, not even necessarily event, but the build and the builds they did and the different experiences they had throughout the whole Samsung experience in Decentraland was awesome. There were so many different things you could do. It wasn't just you go there and you buy a phone. The Samsung experience was awesome. Coca-Cola did a really awesome experience and an installation where you had a chance to win the first gen wearables, Coca-Cola branded. There was later Coca-Cola branded wearables through shoot, I'm blanking on the name, but another build in Decentraland. But yeah, no, those were really awesome installations. There's a lot of brands that did really cool things in Decentraland that you can't take away from, and definitely those being some. So I just didn't want those to be neglected, and I know Lastrom had a big part of those. So sorry to jump in
No,
front
you're
of you,
good.
but those builds were awesome. Those experiences were awesome, and there's nothing that could be taken away from that for
I
sure.
appreciate it. We did a lot before the big brands too, and people might not even realize that. And brands, as Make was saying, doesn't always have to be big brands. But so he mentioned SoundCloud, so that got me that's why I raised my hand, because Audius is a Web3 platform. It's decentralized, and I think Make was saying we don't all hide behind anonymity, but decentralization does not equal anonymity. Decentralization is just allowing us the ability to hopefully take ownership, and so that we don't get rugged. At least that's the ethos of Web3. So things can be decentralized, and you can have be in the spotlight. I think it's a fine line. But SoundCloud is great. Audius was great. I bring it up because I was working with the foundation to make a smart wearable that were audio headphones. And when you put them on, you would listen to the Audius platform. And the Audius team was working with the foundation, and they just couldn't sign a contract together. I mean, it's really crazy. You have a decentralized platform metaverse with a decentralized music platform that can't come to an agreement. Shibu, or no, it was Thomas or Shibu Meshroom that already built the stage. I programmed it. We had a smart wearable. You put it on, it would trigger an emote, and then you would play the Audius platform. You could search, you could find, you could have all of your decentralized music ready to go. And that was if you want to call it a lesser brand, not like a AAA Samsung brand activation. And that just didn't take off. It fell apart, whether it was on the foundation's end or the Audius team's end. It never finished, and all of the pieces were there. So it has been done before. I just think there's been a lot of balls dropped that are not necessarily in our control. And I just wanted to say that lesser brand activations have been tried post big brands. And so, it's, I just bring it up because it's not like we only tried big brands, they worked and they left, and now there's just dust. So yeah.
Thank you very much. Oh my God, we have a very nice discussion right now about big and
Oh,
small
just quickly.
brands.
Sorry, no, Make just said, I don't take offense to it at all. I mean, Samsung, again, those activations were like very brand specific. Samsung got like 8 billion impressions in 1 month of being in Decentraland. And so it was insane for them as an activation for what they wanted to accomplish. Does that always line up with the community? No. But what did line up is what Peanut Butter was saying is they actually trusted a DCL native developer like us, Last Slice, to build it. Samsung didn't come in and say, hey, we're Samsung. Here's what you got to do. Here's what we're building. Come join. They actually let us give them a lot of creativity, which was fantastic. Yes, was there a 185-page brand book that we had to adhere to? Absolutely. But when you walk into the Samsung building, do you get like this really crazy Star Trek lobby vibe? Absolutely. And that was my idea. That was our idea. They wanted like a legit lobby with like elevators and little ferns and like a security desk and like a waiting area. I mean, how boring, right? So big brands, they came in and they did it right. Snapple did it right. Coca-Cola did it right. Absolute did it right. They partnered with these local developers, us, to connect with the community because they didn't know how to connect with the community. And so those activations, I don't take any offense to it at all. I just wanted to highlight like brands came in, they had their very specific reason, and we were all very fortunate that they tapped into the developer community at the time to actually make the experience fun.
Thank you for adding this last round. We have in Decentraland right now a poll going on. Do you want to see big or small brands entering Decentraland? We have 13 users that have voted. Small is with 61 in the lead right now, and Go Big are 38 users saying. We have discussion inward between Miguel Amago, Multi NFT, and MetaWolf. It's about small or big companies entering, and Miguel just added a little earlier. I don't like mainstream. Something that I love about Decentraland is the amount of creators I meet here. Rather support artists, but yeah, I get it. We need brands to come in. And also I see much talking about the green sparkly fruity cola. Okay, dodgy cola, that sounds awesome. Multi-NFT is adding capitalism is a great thing. Awesome. So I see Peanut Butter. I don't know if your hand is up again or if it's still up.
No, it's not.
I'm
But
sorry.
thank
I
you.
think my X is a little bit broken, and I'm so happy so many of you turned in today because, as you may have noticed, the X notifications are down so that we have so many users here that want to interact is awesome. I would like to give everyone a chance to know, come up as a speaker if you haven't had a chance to share your thoughts on this, because I would like to slowly wind down if no any new speakers are coming up. Yeah, so anyone here who would like to add something to the ongoing discussion? We have a very spicy topic. I asked the question, is Genesis City a ghost town? And I love the direction that it took today. I see one request is coming up, and it's someone I never see in the Decentraland, so maybe give it a try. Hello, hello. Let me see if you're still in the audience. I don't think so. Okay, so I would like to give everyone here in the speaker role a chance to add their last thoughts. Is Genesis City a ghost town, or maybe just highlight something that you found interesting today, maybe something that you would like to add? And then I would start closing down with just trying to get everything together that was said today. So maybe let's start with Mariana. Do you have any closing thoughts on this?
Probably do, but I don't know how to wrap them up. Yeah, it's just, or actually, like maybe one thing that I was actually talking to Kim about this. Like, I'm kind of excited for like the Shifi thing that's coming up, because actually I like joined a Zoom call for Shifi this morning for their base wallet thing. And there was like 30 girls that were like actually wondering how to use the app. They were asking monetization questions. Like they were actually like excited to use the app. So like I feel like once it's the Decentraland's turn to, when they have like their class, there's gonna be a lot of questions for those, those people in the class on how to use the Decentraland. And I feel like that session is going to make or break who kind of comes in, but I think they're also going to see the potential of Decentraland, and I guess like from like a student perspective, more students are drawn to like experimenting in Decentraland. I feel like that Shifi, that Shifi cohort is going to be one of those curious people who enter Decentraland. So I think they're having a party potentially. So I don't know when, but I feel like that's going to be like a very important time. And yeah, I just like wish them luck for onboarding, but I think we need to find more of those little small communities. So I kind of agree. Yes, we could we can go big brands, but also do like little by little communities that actually have authentic people, not authentic maybe, but like people who will actually show up and be contributors to the economy versus like, oh, Samsung's millions of users that have an iPhone, not an iPhone, oh my gosh, Samsung phone. Yeah, so yeah, I do like the targeted approach of these little communities coming in, and that may just have to be the case for now until this Web3 gaming hype thing comes back, as I don't know, maybe as regulation gets better, as more, Gen Alpha people kind of shift into, they like learn more about Web3. And that's just all going to take time, I guess. But I guess there's probably more. And then, yeah, I mentioned like the whole marketing thing with Kato. I feel like that's like a good short-term solution. It's not the best solution because a lot of people bought those kind of rewards, but I have seen like I've heard of a lot of new brands or projects in the Web3 space, mainly because people were yapping about it through Kaito on Twitter. So I feel like that might be like a good short-term like marketing. Like, hey guys, like go check out the new whatever X build or whatever. Just food for thought. Um, Probably have more, but that's all I can think of right now.
Thank you very much, Mariana. I took off from this that you're very excited about the Shifi collab, and this is a right direction, in your opinion, that we are going. I saw Abhishek Bashka coming up. I'm so sorry. I hope I pronounced your name right. We are closing down right now, but if you would like to add anything about the topic, we are right now talking about very, I would say, spicy and maybe a little bit over the top, but just as Genesis City a ghost town. Would love to hear your thoughts on this, Abhishek. Please feel free to.
Hey, hi. Yeah, I've been a user of Decentraland from the previous cycle as well. Firstly, am I audible?
Yes,
Hello?
I can hear you very well.
Perfect, perfect. So yeah, sorry, I'm from Bangalore and I'm traveling to Delhi, so it might get a little noisy. I was saying I've been a user of Decentraland for almost 4 years now, and even before Decentraland, I was part of this other mini, like say, centralized metaverse. So I've always been fascinated with the concept, and I'm not sure if many people know this, but I used to beatbox inside Decentraland. By this company that hired me called Meta Trekkers, I think Beat Trekkers, one of these companies, and I used to perform as a filler act. So definitely, I have a lot of affinity for Decentraland, but somewhere along the way, that stickiness, went away, and I've been listening to this, space for almost like 15-20 minutes now, ever since I got into the cab. So yeah, definitely interesting. I remember collecting the Samsung NFTs back in the day. You were supposed to complete tasks, and then you could collect these NFTs. So very interesting. But I just have a couple of questions to people here who are. And by the way, Lastrom, I still remember collecting the POAPs back in the day from Decentraland. So huge shout out. I still remember going around and doing these incredible explorations of Decentraland. So thank you for being part of that. Creating history at Decentraland. So I just have a couple of questions. One is, I'm an architect as well, and I'm a designer. Apart from being a beatboxer, how do we look at getting more users inside the metaverse, specifically Decentraland, here in this conversation? Because I want to see more designers. And one thing that I've seen, at least from my recollection of Decentraland, was that these structures were extremely fun, and whether it could be made more interactive, or if, again, pardon my negligence, but if they're already super interactive now, how can we get more active users? Like active users, why aren't more people using the metaverse? Like, why is, I know the meme coin is a very shitty narrative. For this cycle, it's a very boring narrative. But just curious to understand perspectives as to why the forget the NFTs for a second. I did sell my voice as NFTs back in the day as well, but more specifically to this group of people, how is it that we can get more active users on a daily, monthly basis for Decentraland? Like, any perspectives on that? And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights, Avishka. I love it. Really nice to hear from someone that had visited Decentraland and is still engaging with us. So thank you so much for coming up. I see Peanut Butter's hand raised. I just want to answer maybe one of your questions real quick, because how we could make Decentraland more attractive for users. This is such a big topic. We, I think, could make a whole space about this. But you said that you're an architect as well. Right now, I think you kind of missed it, sadly, but there was an open call for Decentraland Art Week where architects could team up or make their own builds, and there was an open call for it that was came with some prize money, and I think the Art Week is just a few weeks in the future, so maybe check this out. And for me, it's always good to follow in the Decentraland Discord to don't miss these kinds of open calls. And Peanut Butter, what would you like to add?
Basically, just to answer his question on what would bring users, and it kind of just ties back to what I was saying earlier, and it's it's, if you talk to people in Decentraland, there's a lot of people in Decentraland that don't play computer games. And it's because people that play computer games are playing computer games where there's platforms where it's fun to interact on, and virtual worlds where it's fun, and there's a lot where you could do all kinds of crazy shit. Like, you could go on Red Dead online, and like the huge virtual world where you could literally run around and do anything you want, or Grand Theft Auto online. It's like the virtual worlds that are out there where you could do like literally anything that you want. It's like, it's available. So it's like, why would people want to spend time in Decentraland? And it feels bad to say, because I've spent so much time in Decentraland and I love the platform, but it's just like, the development just has to do better, is what it comes down to. And it's just like, that's why there's so many people in Decentraland that are like, I don't play computer games, I just like to socialize. And everybody wonders, how do we get more people on Decentraland that want to play? And it's just like, the platform has to be fun to play. That's what it boils down to. And it's just like, there doesn't necessarily have to be a whole conversation about it. The developers just have to build a better platform.
Thank you very much, Peanut Butter. I love that you brought this perspective in here. I'm really grateful that you joined the space today. I want to say thank you for everyone here that's coming in. I said Menariok has risen his hand, and Lastrom, I think you too. I'm sorry, it seems to be a little bit cursed for me, so I don't know who was first. But since we're talking, I think Avishka was directly talking about Lastrom. Maybe we should give him the first steps of last round. Would you like to add something?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna have closing thoughts. I don't take any offense to like the big brands coming in and people not liking them. I do respect their willingness to work with us. And I will say, out of all the brands, we keep mentioning Samsung because they actually had a 12-month deal. Like, we kept re-signing every quarter, and not any other brand could say that. All these other brands, again, they had a focused marketing effort, and they wanted a quick hit for their brand recognition or whatever their marketing strategy was, and that was it. Samsung was the only brand that actually wanted to integrate into the community for a long, long period. I mean, it was a year. For all of 2022, they engaged in Decentraland. And so I think people miss that concept. And I appreciate the kind words from whoever was just speaking, because, yeah, we try to push the limits. And that was SDK, like early SDK 6 in the browser. I mean, crazy stuff. And it gets gets to like where we're at now, right? So all these brands were in, they rode the high, they're not here anymore. There was really unforgettable experiences back then, and there's very forgettable experiences now. And why is that? And Peanut Butter hit a nail on the head. I've always said the value proposition is just not there. And I don't think it's to DCL's fault, maybe partly, but it's a whole metaverse issue. It has not panned out, whether it's Web3 onboarding or people really just don't care about digital ownership of their assets. Maybe that was an over assumption that we really thought, because we are all maxis and we understand it, that like everybody else is going to get the true value of owning your own content, when all you got to do is go into Roblox and grow a Lego garden, right? And you don't own anything. And so it gets back to, there is no value proposition for the metaverse right now, outside of events. And I don't even know if that's a value proposition. And I'm not trying to be too harsh, but it is a reality. Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead. I mean, there's all of the other games that you can go in, sports games, right? That you can go in and do things. Do they have all of the features? Yeah. I mean, Decentraland doesn't even have physics. And I'm not even asking for like full blown physics. I'm asking for like what they demoed almost a year and a half ago or however long ago with the new client, like jumping really high and jumping really far and slowing your run down like in quicksand, or speeding it up like you hit a speed boost, right? I mean, we don't even have that, but hey, they're bringing back NPC avatars that can emote, right? Which was already something they did. Private chats, which was something they already did. And so there is no development. In 1 year, take a hard look. I mean, you got to look. What has been a new feature that you couldn't do in the browser? And there's not a lot. I mentioned one in World. It was the camera. I think virtual camera is really cool. So long-winded, brands are gone because the eyes are gone. The development has been stagnant for many reasons in the metaverse, and Decentraland hasn't put out a good enough product to beat out even Other Side or anybody else.
Thanks, Lastram, for this insights. I've sorry, I tried to break it all down. So you're saying the big brands are going from the center because the eyes were gone. I just want to say that I think maybe I have understood it wrong in when he was talking, but I understand it like this: big brands back then were a good thing, but right now we should focus more. The times has changed, and now we can focus on other brands, maybe smaller ones. Not that one thing, this is not what I understood, that one thing is worse or better than the other. Just now the time is maybe different. Also, as Mariana said it, she's very hyped for the Shi-Fi collab that is coming right now. And I see many hands are coming up now where I want to wind down. I saw Metariok's hands going up, I think, before Ellen Hovig. So Metariok, please feel free to add.
I think let Alan speak first. I've spoken a number of times already.
Okay, thank you very much for being this polite. Metariok, so Ellen Hovig, what would you like to add?
Hey, first off, thanks a lot, Toxic, for putting this together. I want to tell you, I love your accent. Your English is amazing, and never feel self-conscious about your English. Thank you for what you do. Your hard work does not go unnoticed. I know you're trying to wrap this up, so I'll be super quick. I think we all need to continue to be patient. We have been for a while, and I think good things are going to come. I'm kind of indifferent towards brands. I'm not saying they're good or bad. I think it's that cliche or that quote, build it and they will come. And if we build it, brands will start showing up, if that's what they want to do. I think I quickly want to touch on something that Metariok mentioned earlier about the SDK 6 scenes scattered around Genesis City. I've been making an effort to not teleport between places, and because I'm working on my my gold walkabout badge. It's ridiculous, but it's going to take forever. But I do run around a lot, and there's a lot of broken scenes. I don't know who can fix this. If there's some low-hanging fruit, does the DAO and the foundation have a whole bunch of scenes that were put there like 3 or 4 years ago that could just be deleted? I think for new users, let's say you do show up and you're thinking, where do I go? And you start running around. I think if Decentraland looks better, it'll be more fun to walk around, even by yourself, and just explore. There's too many broken buildings. I know it's a touchy subject, probably, but I wish there's a way to, again, clean up the low-hanging fruit, the stuff that we can clean up and get rid of. The sooner the better. It would make the experience a lot better, I think. I think that's very important, for me at least. Finding a way to set up a couple games, I think, is key. I'm not sure what those games look like. I feel like that is being worked on right now, but something that does bring you in, something kind of like Wondermind, that you have 2 or 3 versions of that, you'll get people coming back in just to do those things. $5 might not be a lot to some of us, but it's a lot of money to some people. I don't know, some kind of monetization, some kind of incentive to show up every day. And that's about it. Thanks for doing this. There's a million things we could talk about. This has been a really interesting discussion. There's so many layers to Decentraland. It's hard to know where to start. I guess we do have to remember this. There's no roadmap necessarily to making a metaverse, and so it can be frustrating at times when we start hitting walls. But the frustration goes away quickly. Anyways, good luck to everyone. Thanks. Talk to you later.
Awesome, Alan. Thank you. So, Mario, I think you had your hand risen, so please feel free to add whatever you would like.
Thanks, Toxic. So final words for me is I see Decentraland is more like a giant stadium, and as long as there are events in the stadium, people will come. And if there's no events in the stadium, people wouldn't come in the first place, right? So that's pretty much logic in the real world, in real life. So I feel like so that's the first one. I don't think people should expect that people will always be there 24 hours a day, especially when there's only limited events that happen per week or per month. So yeah, that's how I put it, as essentially a giant stadium with only specific events that happen and that people will come. So more events, more people will come. And secondly, um, again, if you want people to come and really do something, right? Even though there's no events, but what we can do, like what I suggested earlier, something that can do for fun. It could be just a very simple game, just shooting zombies and stuff like that, where you can spawn zombies all over the map or a specific plaza that is empty or not doing anything, turn it into a battlefield. People can play, shoot each other, earn points, and then get reward for it if there's budget. Third is the front end on our website. We have a lot of categories, but when you go to each category, there are many scenes that are either empty, no longer available, or even broken. So we need to clean this up. And lastly, although there's a lot of perspective when it comes to brands, what I'm suggesting here is that no matter what it is, the existing brands that are already in Decentraland, we need to create a page for it to amplify the existence of these brands. Otherwise, people come in, they go to the site, and they see, well, there's nothing special. Right? And I'm not talking about community members, I'm talking about people who, first thing they come in, website is the most important thing, right? That's the client-facing thing that people will generally explore. So if they start to see the first impression where a lot of high-profile brands or any brands that are already in Decentraland, they will have more confidence either to participate or to invest. So those are my final words. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mario. Peanut Butter, I saw that your hand went up. So would you like to add something to this? Because, friends, 3 a.m. here in Germany, we need to wind a little bit down. So, Peanut Butter, if you could maybe combine this with your last closing thoughts, this would be awesome.
Yeah, I put my hand up and then I put it back down because I feel bad saying the same thing. But it's just like a shooting zombie game sounds cool, but the foundation made a really cool like snowball game where you could run around, throw snowballs at each other. But it came down to the stability of the platform. Just can't handle a basic game like that. Like, okay, building a zombie game sounds cool, but step one is building a platform that's capable of handling it. So it's just like, I don't know. I feel bad for saying the same thing again, but really, that's the reality of it.
Don't feel bad. I love it. We all need to hear this. That's why we are here for. And I saw your hand coming up. Some closing thoughts. Or maybe my X is cursed again. So I think the only speaker we haven't heard from now is Sinful. Sinful, do you have any closing thoughts for us on this very hot topic?
Well, I just want to thank you for hosting this, and I mean, the conversation has been awesome. There's, as someone mentioned, there's lots of layers to this conversation, and many rabbit holes to go down. So, I mean, I also feel like I guess part of the experience currently, because like what we are there, someone said there's no roadmap to building a metaverse, so in those terms we are the trailblazers, and you know, might as well do some dope shit while we're at it. And yeah, thank you everyone for coming up and making this conversation really good. I've been at the edge of my seat this entire time.
Sinful, thank you so much. Hearing this from you is such nice for me, because I really hope everyone here is enjoying it. And thanks for the compliment about my English. As you always know, friends, I'm a little bit insecure because I'm not a native English speaker. So I hope you could good understand everything, and the discussion was going in a way that was interesting for everyone. So I think all of our speakers had time for their closing thoughts. So let me quick grab some key takeaways from today. So we need to bring some big brands in. This is something that got said, but the big brands are not coming if we don't have any users here and make it exciting for them. So this is a little bit of a problem. What was first, the chicken or the egg? We here to make Genesis City exciting again, fix the platform and the tools, and make DCL attractive again, clean it up. This came from MetaRiok. And yeah, I think this is kind of what we can do to don't let Decentraland or Genesis City becoming a ghost town. So the dead mall narrative isn't just about empty plazas. This is something that we learned today. It's also about expectations, what we want DCL to be versus what it actually is. And the numbers in the mid-year recap sounded big, and without transparency or lived inward experience, they leave us with more questions than answers. And maybe it's not about blame, DAO, Foundation, or us users, but about asking what kind of experience are we really trying to build here? So yeah, Decentraland may not be packed 24/7, but it's also not dead. It's weird, it's messy, it's creative, sometimes quiet, sometimes chaotic, and we are the ones that are shaping it. Maybe the real answer isn't ghost town or not. Maybe it's what do we want this place to feel like in 6 months, and how do we do it, and how do we get there together? So thank you everyone so much for being part of WTF DCL. See you in 2 weeks, same time, same vibe. And if you have any recommendations for a topic that you would like to have discussed, please feel free to reach out to me. And let's vibe a little bit longer in the top up. And thank you very much. I'm closing.